welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we are going to be continuing the narration and character voice acting for the First of a Thousand Autumns story. Alright then everybody, time for part 3 and to continue this journey and see how far we're gonna get in today's part with this newest Sui story. But before we do so, as always, to anybody who bumps into the voiceover through this very episode, full playlist is in the description box of this very video, together with all the other Sui stories leading up to here. Like I said in the previous two parts, if you have to catch up with something, I would recommend it. I would also recommend it to go through all of the stories just for full context, to see the build-up and to get to meet the characters more so than not throughout all of those stories and see their character arcs and everything, and what role they may or may not be playing in this story. But yeah, anyway, regardless if you're gonna go all the way back and go from the beginning or continue from here, enjoy and thank you very much. And, of course, before we head into today's part, as always, we're gonna do the quick little recap here for the previous part. So for those who wanna skip that, you can do so with the timestamps provided down below in the description box, chapter select, or just the YouTube navigation bar, whatever works. But anyway, let's begin. So then, last time, we started off at Yu's restaurant, and he was having a very rare guest. Ya appears at his place, and while she's peaceful at first, Ya becomes aggressive once Jiang appears and tries to attack him. That hostility gets abruptly stopped by Jun, the fourth oldest sibling and second oldest sister. Chen, meanwhile, has her own surprise meeting. The aloof woman that stopped her at the entrance to the Sky Mirror Pavilion turns out to be a relative of hers called Chen Qiaoqian. As Qiaoqian berates Chen for coming to Baizao, they get attacked by script guides and run into the pavilion. In there, they run into Zuola and Moyi. Zuo is still chasing her to get the trinket back, however that chase gets interrupted by the Chens appearing and Moyi takes Qiaoqian hostage. Liang Shun then appears and calms everyone down. After a long discussion between all sides, and Chen asking for Liang's thoughts on Wei Yenwu's disappearance, they all decide to head upstairs to see about Jie's writing knife that is stored in a room of the Sky Mirror Pavilion. We then swap to Wang, where we see an old meeting between him and Shuo once more. Shuo is questioning Wang on why he let Ju go, and Wang is bringing up that while Shuo might have solved his problem with Sui, the rest of the siblings can't do what he did. At least, not yet. It would take them too long to get there. Wang, in a huff, then leaves Shuo behind and runs into Ling, who manages to drag Wang back to Shuo and mediates between them. Ling then helps Wang to take a look at Sui's nightmare. Lending a helping hand in this dream dive is the Ferenmud Ho. While in there, Wang's image gets reflected by Sui Itself and it takes on the form of Wang, but as a white piece. As tension starts to build up, Ho and Ling pull Wang out of the dream, but they don't realize that it was just a weiqi piece. Wang then manages to kill the white piece, the reflection, and Sui as well in this game. Staying in Wang's story for a bit longer, we see the true Long from 140 years ago enter what is known as Bu Fan. Bu Fan is a massive structure that houses another original originium crystal, and this one has been used all this time to keep the Sui asleep. However, this new True Long is growing impatient and displeased with how this source of massive amounts of energy is being used, so he gives Wang a 20-year time frame to kill Sui. GM, meanwhile, is meeting her new candle holder called Chun, who turns out to be an elf of the Yanese Feramut Yan. The two of them get along well, and sometime later, while meeting with her sister Jun, Chun runs in telling them that the writing knife had disappeared. While the search for the knife is on, the building efforts for Baizao run into some problems that also resolve themselves. Chun, meanwhile, hears about Jie's powers, how Jie's powers have been growing and growing over the years, and that Yan is starting to see her as a threat. By the end, the knife that was in the hands of the true Lung for a while is returned to Jie. However, the tension remains. And yeah, that is pretty much where we left off last time. So then, let's proceed into today's section. And today we're gonna be obviously continuing from where we left off on stage number 6, which is back in Chen's, or rather current or present time, I guess. And we're gonna be hopping back and forth for a bit. But after today's part, the two storylines will finally merge back into one single storyline. But that will be for the next episode. So then, for today's part, let's begin. Oh yeah, I should also mention before it slips my mind completely, there will be some intermissions again in today's part as well. I don't know how many yet. I'm definitely sure about one that I will be putting in. Might be another one or a third one. I'm not sure yet, but one will definitely make the cut. You'll see it and you will hear it when it happens. It will be a short one. But anyway, let's begin on TA6, titled Enveloped Edge. To go up, first go down. To go left, first go right. Everyone has their own plans, and everyone is held captive within. Two days before the day of the full moon, out of Hai, the man walks past rows of fallen bookshelves, trying to return the scattered books to where they should be. The earth's blessings have granted a stone to its people. The heaven's blessings shall bring an end to Sui. But in this 1,000-year river of history, is it fate ordained by heaven and earth? Or nothing more than a coincidence? Lord Zhu and Miss Shen. It was they who brought the token to the Sky Mirror Pavilion today. Was it a coincidence or...
This mayhem? What happened?
Someone joins him, stepping lightly, and bends down to pick a book from the ground.
Mr. Liang.
Miss Ning, why are you still here?
Did you forget that I am an official of the Ministry of Rights? Neither of us should leave until all the civilians have been evacuated.
You are quite right. Is the evacuation of the civilians complete?
Essentially. Baizao will soon separate. This unsettling, is it not? Perhaps you wanted to ask how I knew you were here, when you did not tell me about your demotion.
It rained through the night yesterday. I only feared that you may be cold.
Hmm.
The man clears a little spot for the two of them to sit down.
It has been a long time since I last visited the Sky Mirror Pavilion.
I suppose you used to frequent here?
As did all the students of the academy. I had a headache whenever I looked up at the books stacked all the way up to the ceiling. But now, I find here a place of rare peace, away from the troubles beyond.
I heard about Mr. Ning. You have my deepest sympathies.
My grandfather did what he felt was right. He would not have kept the secret for so long out of selfish interests. He did it to protect the younger generations too. I cannot reproach him, whether with reason or sentiment. Of course, he must also pay the price for his deeds.
I see you have laid it down. I'm glad to see it.
Perhaps you misunderstand. I do not mean that I could lay it down easily. I cannot deny that my career benefited greatly from my grandfather's influence. Those on the outside would undoubtedly say that the House of Ning has fallen on hard times. I would not say this to anyone but you, Mr. Liang.
You should not say that. I do not feel that any of your honors are undeserved. I trust you.
What if you are the only one? My grandfather said that once one has passed the walls of the palace, one must not trust in others easily, and certainly not expect to be trusted easily. I listened, but it seems that I forgot about it when I met you in Chongyue. I simply believed that I found a kindred spirit.
You flatter me.
You've always been like this. I admire your honesty and your sense of responsibility, but I hate how you make decisions by yourself and keep other people at a distance. But then I realized, you would not be Liang Shun if everything you did was to my liking. I could no more reproach you than I could reproach my grandfather.
I once thought that all I needed to do was to be fair, honest, diligent, and persevering. But the years have taught me how powerless I am. Your grandfather was right, but even more frightening is the thought that I could not even trust myself to keep my aspirations and ideals. I would not claim that everything I did was honest and upright, but you should not have been involved in the ones that were not.
Is it my turn to comfort you with the words clear conscience? You and I have done all we could, following the path of justice that we believed in. Perhaps we are ultimately powerless to change anything. Perhaps this entire city will be no more when the sun rises tomorrow.
Then, here and now at least, my conscience is clear. The night is deep. The ancient library has kept some old rules. All is quiet, except the passage of time. They hold each other's hands tightly, in their own. The desolate ponds lie wrinkled by the wind. Beneath the crumbling eaves, no voices remain. One can still recall those days of green sashes and red plumes in their splendor. One day before the day of the full moon, hour of 2. The script guides seem to be appearing less frequently. Could it be that you are right, and these geists are the breathing of the bestial Sui?
I told you so. You just won't believe me.
Whatever the reason, this is our opportunity to head for the top.
So this is the Sky Mirror Pavilion's restricted area.
What are you planning?
These geists turn back into words when they're defeated. Say, if they were transformed from the secret tomes of the Sky Mirror Pavilion, would defeating them reveal the secrets of Yan that are usually kept hidden?
You dare? No sudden moves!
Let me see what secrets the words form. Sang Tu Tui Sho. What is this? It makes no sense.
The top 3 floors of the Sky Mirror Pavilion are off limits. We only enter because we have an important mission. Refrain from doing anything unnecessary.
You still won't admit that you're already in on this.
Your deceptive words mean nothing. I know what I'm doing.
There's a lot that you don't know. This building began as a public library, one of the first buildings to be completed after Baizao became a nomadic city, but there was no such thing as a restricted area at the time. Then, 120 years ago, the death of the proxy affected tons of history books, causing their texts to become unreadable. The Sui regulator wanted to dig deep, but the number of books was enormous, so the Sky Mirror Pavilion set aside space up top for the Sui regulator's research. Decades passed. When the discussion of the turmoil had almost settled, the place became a warehouse for dusty old books. Some restricted zone? Why would it be sealed off from public view if it held any actual knowledge?
You do know a lot.
Just a little bit more than you.
The things you speak of should not be secrets to the Sui regulator, but I have not heard them before. My studies have been inadequate.
This is what I hate about you. Always stiff, always by the book. Was that white-haired pair we met in Mangshan town a friend of yours?
You mean, Yun Ping?
Yeah, that's the name, I think. He couldn't fight his way out of a wet paperback, and it looked like a stiff wind could blow him over, but he was a quick thinker. Talking to him was kind of interesting. Why don't you learn a thing or two from him?
I know Yun's smart. I don't need you to lecture me.
Now you start to drop the official tone and sound like a human being.
Why did you join the Shanghai Zhang, Wei?
What answer do you want to hear? You want me to tell you that I had a difficult childhood, drifted into the Shanghai Zhang, and I'm looking for a chance to repent and mend my ways? Doesn't that sound a little cliché?
I wasn't a... Say whatever you want.
Of course, the Shanghai Zhang who murder and pillage are villains. They deserve to die. But I hate hypocrites even more. Those people who look like they'll die if they stop flaunting their high and mighty morals for a single moment. They think they're better than everyone else the moment they come out of their mama's tummy. Frauds.
What I really want to know is, why are you so sure that this thing from the Garden of Groutesqueries will stop a war between Yan and Sui?
You've been with the Sui regulator for a while. Have you never wondered about their most closely guarded secret? Why did that proxy die? Looks like it's not that you're not curious. It's that curiosity has yielded no answers. That's the real problem, isn't it? Why would this have become a secret if the Sui regulator was really so just and upright? What's the matter?
No, it's nothing. Did you not hear any of that?
You're so weird. You've been staring into blank space for a while now. Did those guys give you a concussion? Don't suppose there's anything I can do about that.
Thanks. I'm not quite, I just feel like I've been here before.
You said you dreamt about this place before. Were you dreaming just now?
Perhaps. I thought I heard two people arguing, something about justice, but I'm not sure.
You must be hearing things. It's mostly ancient history books here. Maybe there's a clue as to what's going on here but justice. That's one thing you won't find.
They seemed to be saying that justice doesn't exist tangibly.
That's true enough. Never mind that. Let's get searching. Maybe you'll find your father's books here.
His books, here?
Talk about forgetting one's roots. But I suppose it's not your fault. You didn't grow up in Baizao, and these things didn't really have anything to do with you.
I thought you would be angrier at me.
I am angry, but I realize I shouldn't take it out on you. I just... never mind. Miscellaneous morsels from Baizao Suyang. Yes, this one dates back several generations. The people rejoiced as the new emperor took the throne. They put up white banners like clouds and held rites in remembrance of the previous emperor's virtue. But their hearts were hopeful, confident that an era of greatness was upon us. and the nation's peace secure. This is from a century ago, when the last true Lung took the throne.
That's a long time ago. Does it have anything to do with what we're investigating?
The last true Lung's accomplishments were innumerable. The transformation of Baizao into a nomadic city, as well as the Sky Mirror Pavilion, were completed under his decree. Not that either of us were around back then, although I suppose he would be your grandfather. Look at this forward. Talk about sucking up to the powerful. The county records from around Baizao and the demographic records of Baizao itself all paint a picture that is far less rosy.
In the end, only one person's accomplishments remain. Same old story, no matter where you are, I guess.
That is kind of strange to hear from a close blood relative of that emperor. When the city of Baizao was completed, the emperor ordered the tomes of all the archives to be gathered in a single place. The scholars worked by candlelight, collecting fragments and tales, validating the facts and compiling them so that the scattered records are whole again. That's strange. The Imperial Historical Cabinet's efforts to collect these scattered histories happened after the death of a proxy, more than a decade before Baizao was built. But the ambiguous way that it's written, the old generations were always stringent about scholarship. Why would they make such a mistake? Could it be that even what little they left behind was altered and rewritten?
Chongyue is not listening to her companion's muttering. She's on guard for any unusual movement around them. She wanted to tell Chen Qian to get moving, but she had a hard time saying it, seeing the sad look on Chen Qian's face. I never asked you, what happened to your family? The ones who were in Baizao?
The Chens were a family of historians. They were well regarded but not illustrious. They generally stayed out of conflict and politics, other than the occasional offense they inevitably caused in the course of their work as historians. All I remember is that my father said it was as though the sky had fallen when the family learned about the marriage arrangement with the princess. That cousin was the only unmarried man in the family. He and everyone else knew how dangerous it was, but they were in no position to refuse. The rest was history. Princess Yanjing died in Lungmen, and my cousin passed away soon after. His Imperial Majesty did not punish our family, but rumors of strife took on a life of their own. You can imagine what happened to us when everyone decided our house had mistreated the princess.
That's not what Mother wanted. I doubt it was Wei Yenwu's intention either.
I was very young then. All I saw was, the elders were always sighing when they came back from the morning assembly. Many fell ill out of sheer worry. Brothers and sisters stopped communicating with one another. Everything was shrouded in gloom, but I didn't know why. Father moved from place to place, selling off the family's belongings, until we finally left Baizao altogether, yet he never once told me the reason. As for what happened after, you know, there was a time after becoming Magistrate of Water here in the Sky Mirror Pavilion, when I thought I couldn't let the family tradition of history die with me. I didn't complain about the job. Most of the position's responsibilities had been replaced by machines anyway. My colleagues, while not the friendliest lot, had little interest in political backstabbing. I had time on my hands, so I thought I would start with my family's history. Was it because the Magistrate of Water's rank was too low? I felt like I had stumbled into a thick fog, getting more lost with every step I took. I knew my family didn't do anything wrong, but all the records I could find denounced us for our arrogance, our abuses. I tracked down the ones who were still alive, tried to ask them what they knew, but they couldn't get away fast enough when they learned I'm of the Chen family and the Chao generation. The few who were willing to see me said a bunch of apologetic words in officialese, but refused to tell me anything about the truth of what happened. I spent 10 years on this until I even started to believe it myself, that the House of Chen deserved what it got for mistreating the princess. But I know it wasn't true! What am I? What is the House of Chen? What were your dead parents? What is history?
All I know is that history should be a record of the truth. That's what justice means to me.
No, sure.
As for the family history you wanted to know, to tell the truth, my parents died when I was very young. I don't remember much about them. And Wei Yenwu was, Wei Yenwu. It's hard for me to explain to people who my parents were. Sometimes I pass off the image of Wei Yenwu as my father's, just to make things simple. I don't ever remember my mother smiling, and I don't remember many positive things about my father. I just can't imagine how it feels to have your life determined entirely by other people, by those baseless things like responsibility and honor. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to them.
Is life fair and just to anyone?
Someone once said to me that the justice we seek is not in the past, but that doesn't mean we should forget about it. Intermission. Excerpt from Chongyue's character story in IS6 Garden of Groutesqueries. Part 3. The Grandmaster and a Young Man. The young man follows the vanguard as it advances, scouting out the whereabouts of their enemy who often raided Zujia village. The Grandmaster had actually told him to stay in camp to train. After all, he had only just been dispatched to Human for experience a few days ago. He did not know where he had plucked the courage from, but he had told the Grandmaster, "Care to make a wager with me?" A stray boast, for father is far away in Baizao and was not there to lecture him. Little did he expect the Grandmaster to actually agree. Was he not as cold and distant as he thought? In the end, the Grandmaster had agreed, saying that if he managed to capture an enemy and bring them back alive, his experience will be considered complete, and he could return to Baizao. He still has cases to complete and criminals to arrest, and did not wish to waste away his years out in this barren desert. Secretly, he hopes that this scouting trip would run into the enemy. The scouting party quickly finds themselves in desperate combat with their black-hatted foes. By the time the young man snaps out of his reverie, the enemy's blade is just about to hack apart his face. He steps back over and over, doing his best to parry every blow. The vigorous slashing sends vibrations down his hands as their swords clash, and he takes all his strength to keep his weapon from flying out of his grasp. All he can hear is the din of his own battle. There is no time for him to care about friend or foe, or where arrows are being loosened from, or what orders his commander is barking out. He slips and tumbles to the ground. Being able to return to camp alive is fortuitous enough. The young man kneels to the ground and vomits, not caring that the Grandmaster is nearby and looking his way. From then on, the only place he can be found is the training grounds, pushing his martial arts training tenfold, no, 100-fold harder than before. He wants to get rid of that shameful memory. The Grandmaster will occasionally stop by to watch him practice, but never gives him any direction or commentary. Perhaps he is already aware of his skill level and is sure he'd stay for more experience. One day, the Grandmaster quietly approaches him as he trains and asks, "Our wager, is it still ongoing?" The young man is startled, and the Grandmaster points at his thigh. "Your stance is off. Start over." The young man takes a deep breath and swings his sword once more, but he dares not look in the eyes of his teacher. "Grandmaster, you still believe I can do it?" The Grandmaster simply says, "Today, at the hour of C, we depart for Zojia village." Upon hearing the name of the village, the young man's face goes pale. It was exactly on the road back from Zojia village that he met with the enemy and nearly died. Now, if he goes back there again... "The enemy launched another attack to the village? Are you scared?" I'm not scared at all." The Grandmaster personally leads the sortie this time. The young man follows the troops, on edge the entire time. The Grandmaster had seemed satisfied with his answer, but only he knows just how lacking in confidence he is. The enemy had captured the village after all, and turned it into their stronghold. It would be much easier for them to fend off an attack this time, but the moment he sees one of them stomping on a trembling villager, his fury burns brighter than his fear. Though it is still the same chaotic battlefield and the same vicious enemy, his sword hand is steady. After driving out their foes, the soldiers help the villagers clean up the mess under the guidance of the Grandmaster. The young man joins in, working deep into the night. He does not feel sleepy, so he sits atop a roof, looking out into the distance. "So this is the sort of war Yan is fighting at the borders." Sensing the Grandmaster sit down by him, he mumbles, "You called me up today for a reason, didn't you, Grandmaster? Father must have told you about the mistakes I made back in Baizao." For accidentally injuring civilians while pursuing enemies, the youth had been sent to Human for both training and self-reflection. "You and Father were both trying to get me to understand why I wield this sword. I think I understand a little bit more now." "If that is the case, then you are the winner of our little wager." The young man's expression changes slightly, but he seems neither too surprised or happy. After some consideration, he says, "If you are alright with it, Grandmaster, may I stay here to train longer? We had casualties today, and the situation at the border is surely to become even more dire. I think there are still things I can do here." The Grandmaster is more surprised than the young man. He falls silent for a moment, then pats the young man upon the shoulder with a smile before getting up to leave. "Thank you, Grandmaster, for your generosity." The young youth clasps his fist in respect. "I, Zuo Shanliao, will not squander your trust in me." One day before the day of the full moon, hour of Su. The aging general stands silently in the tent, like a brick on an ancient wall. Behind him is the military map that he has drawn 1,000 times in his mind. Before him is the faint silhouette of Baizao. The reign of the Heartlands is unfamiliar to one used to the sands of the frontier. The clouds hang low, suffocatingly so. The general's thoughts drift away. You are the new commander of Human, I take it. You can call me Shuo. My responsibility is to assist you in military matters, as well as kung fu instructions for the soldiers. I can take you around the base if you'd like. You don't remember me? I saw your name in the Imperial Court's announcement. What do you mean by remember? Never mind. I don't need a guide. I served in Yuan before. I see. Forgive my impudence. It seems we are old comrades. The memories tend to fade after all these years on the border. Forgive me if I've caused any offense. Memories faded. I see. Interesting. Get yourself warmed up. I want to spar. You've had a long journey. You should rest. I would be happy to spar with you another day. I don't need to rest. I want to get some exercise before dinner. We should go no further, General. The supply lines and the troops' morale have been stretched to the limit. We cannot afford to be reckless when fighting demons. To push forward would be very risky. We are so close! It's already a remarkable victory, General. The demons of the north feed on the fear in men's hearts. This is the first time I've seen a general press on without fear, even with the entire army's fate upon your shoulders. There is nothing to fear! These things have harmed our people, ruined cities and farms. I only wish we could have wiped them out in this battle! Give me 20 years. I swear I will see all the demons wiped out! I have no doubt you will, sir. I doubt anything under heaven could daunt you. What about you? You seem indomitable, invincible. Have you ever been afraid? Transfer? My appointment to human was for 100 years. It's time to leave. And the Sui regulator didn't tell me anything about the personnel change. They are getting more and more out of line. But why are you leaving now? Trouble is stirring in the northwest. We need you more than ever. Perhaps our time together has made you forget. I've never held any official position in human. Where are you going? Danian? Meet you. I think I will be stepping away fully from my responsibilities. Why? Communications from the candle holders watching the tomb of Sui have become increasingly frequent. Its awakening approaches. It would not be appropriate for me to shoulder important responsibilities at this time. But human is strong and well equipped. It will perform its duty well, whether protecting Great Yan's northwestern border or any other purpose. Where are you going after you leave? The Jiangho world is big. There are plenty of places to go. Report. Have the scouts returned? Not yet, sir. And we have received no instructions from Baizao in the past 3 days. The Sui regulator should be communicating with human, regardless of what is happening in the tomb of Sui. Send out messengers! Sir! They're forcing their way in! What is the meaning of this? General Zhu. It is most irregular to invade my tent like this, even for the military supervisory censor. On whose orders are you operating? The Grand Commandant has sent me to question you on the unnecessary delay. Ridiculous! Human has been on full alert since it received the order to mobilize. There has been no delay. Have you forgotten that Human received orders to arrive at Baizao by the last day of July, at the beginning of the year, but arrived 3 days late? What is this, if not a delay? Human was struck by a catastrophe at the beginning of the year, and the repairs took 2 months. The Imperial Court must have known... Silence! I take responsibility for humans' delay. Did you come to strip me of command, then?
You know the Grand Commandant thinks highly of you. But it seems now that you do not trust the Grand Commandant.
Such words are inappropriate for a solemn place like this.
Kindly instruct human to travel 20 li in the direction of the tomb of Sui.
Human is already as close as it is allowed to be under standby. Why should we approach any closer? The situation in the tomb of Sui is yet unclear. Are you saying that humans should attack?
Your duty is to obey. There is no need to question.
What is His Imperial Majesty's will?
Are you questioning your orders, General Zuo?
I cannot abide such questionable orders.
If you will not accept your orders, then I must ask you to leave this tent.
How dare you! Stop!
My presence here represents the will of the Grand Commandant. All you need to do is obey. Even if His Imperial Majesty questions, he can find no fault in your actions. The bestial Sui is awakening. War is inevitable. Do you still intend to defy orders and paralyze human with inaction? We are at a crisis. The lives of millions hinge on your decision, including your wife and son, who are still in the Baizao city.
How dare you!
Not us. You, General. According to the estimates of the Ministry of War, Baizao will be doomed as long as you continue to defy orders, and human remains unmoving. There is no time. We will wait here until you have come to a decision. Does it look familiar? It has changed, but it is still recognizable as the court that judges all matters under heaven. Why have you come back at this time, when you have not done so for so many years? I have an appointment I cannot miss. But you took the time to come to the Judicial Review Office. Did you want to see if your successors have disappointed you? My views are insignificant. The Judicial Review Office should only think about not disappointing the people of Yan. One of the deputy ministers resigned recently. It's a shame. You would have liked her. I hope she didn't resign because she was disappointed. Hard to say. Do you still play the guqin? Never forget the 5 sounds, for that they ensure proper virtue. I have also been trying out new instruments recently. I see. More pleasant than studying the laws of Yan, I expect. It is an interesting discipline. I read the basic principles of the laws of Yan that you left behind many times, but I could never understand the last third. I spent so much time studying it that I almost failed my Ministry of Justice entrance exam. Maybe I would have become a candle holder. It took many years for me to understand. The justice that you wrote about lay beyond the mortal realm. Just as one cannot draw what one has never seen, one cannot write about conscience that does not exist in their hearts. If justice is nowhere to be seen in the mortal realm, then one must consider, has someone blinded our eyes? You still bear a grudge for what happened back then. Should I not? What about the people who died in the turmoil? The innocent souls who were dragged into the game? Should they bear a grudge against them? Yes, they should. Then how do you seek a fair judgment for it? You forget. Not one law of Yan was written for the sole purpose of resolving hatred. It is someone else who should be judged. Looks like you're not worried about what will happen to your brother in the tomb of Sui. You're more worried about the judgment he'll receive. Justice has never been concerned with life and death. He and I seek different things. You're right, but at a time like this, I can't help but feel... Law and regulations were written by humans, but the supreme law in your heart that transcends the strife of the mortal realm may never be found there. But just this once, if the time comes that we put the sinner on trial, I will put you in the judge's chair. You're correct. And it's been a long time since I judged anyone. I take my leave. There's no rush, is there? Join me in a cup of mortal tea before you leave. Oh! It takes mortal hands to make and serve the best mortal tea, after all.
One day before the day of the full moon, hour of view.
The Sky Mirror Pavilion is bigger than I thought. That's the sealed room on the top floor, right? How about someone knocks on the door and figures out how to open it?
There's no one here. I think we're the first.
There is one thing that I don't quite understand, Zola.
If the Grand Commandant is after the Proxy's relic, I take it that he knows how to use it to neutralize the bestial Sui? He is one of the 3 Grand Ministers. If he made plans to obtain it, then he has certainly made plans to use it. I even find myself wondering, if someone takes the opportunity to erase another Proxy's name with the writing knife, while Wang is fighting Sui...
But what does all of this have to do with Wei Yenwu? The Grand Commandant wouldn't have needed a writing knife if he was that powerful. He could have gone into the tomb of Sui and killed Sui with his own bare hands.
What ideas do you have then?
I didn't really care about you and your official stuff, but I have a pretty good idea what's going on after listening to you guys talk. Basically, the Crown Prince who went missing 40 years ago after being suspected of staging a coup is back. Am I right?
Do not speak of it so casually!
I'm not wasting my time arguing with you. Basically, there's another direct descendant of the True Lung here in Baizao. That explains everything.
What are you getting at?
Have you never heard of the special reginium under Baizao used to suppress Sui? Miss Shen here is from Lungmen, so it's understandable that she doesn't know. But you too should, unless it's above your rank.
Do you mean... the Earth's blessings have granted the stone to its people. The Heaven's blessings shall bring an end to Sui. A legend associated with the Great Hunt. I thought it was a myth, maybe some kind of allegory.
All I know is that the tomb of Sui was built around a special facility.
Alright, I guess you don't know.
Why do you know?
I guess the Sui regulator left no record of who gave Yan this originium either. It was our Grandmaster, Ju's first friend, and the first Shanghai Zhong. To be precise, it was a personal gift to the True Lung, meaning...
What happened?
Looks like the evacuation of the civilians is complete, and the plates are beginning to separate. Time is short. We should retrieve...
So you really made it here?
Who's... A figure approaches from the other side of the corridor. But how could it be
All districts have been fully evacuated, Your Imperial Majesty, and all the ministries are ready. They await your command.
Tomorrow is the day of the full moon.
Yes.
Very well. Separate the plates. Heaven and earth rumble in the setting golden sun. The plates of Baizao begin to separate, starting from the outer areas, casting numerous shadows in the vast wilderness. They are the legs that carried the city, and the foundation of its existence. Shui, Chongyue, Yanghuo, Jiangji, Luanfang, Baizao, Zaifu, Bingxi. The 8 districts have seen 100 springs and autumns together. They have long been standing united, overcoming hardships. Now that they are separated, the future is uncertain. I was wondering when you would come. Your Imperial Majesty, it is time. That city separation looks cool as hell. I think this is the most detailed one we've seen yet. There was some like city splitting stuff in the past, but this is like the most detailed picture of a city splitting into its individual little segments that we've seen so far, and just shows how much Baizao is constructed as a very mobile city, for a lack of a better term. Alright, but before we address it, a couple of more points of this scene. First off, one new enemy. Thief in the Clouds. Script guys born of the influence of a Sui proxy whose original name was Thief. At the end of the history book is a comment in light-colored ink. The thief stole the ink and sundered spring and autumn. The writer understands it well. It is not easy to write with honesty and integrity, but history will never be forgotten so long as those who write continue to do so. And yeah, once again, we're getting backstory for quite a lot of stuff. First of all, a couple of minor things like seeing Liang and his little beloved interact with each other. Very nice to see that the two of them are still going strong. I hope the guy doesn't screw it up. Anyway, outside of that, Moi, the more she talks about stuff, the more interesting she's becoming as a character. Like, this woman has a lot of background knowledge. I mean, she is aware of Bufan and quite a lot of things as well, it seems. She is well in the know. And again, she is someone who actually remembers Jie by name, not just as the vanished proxy or the proxy who died or something like that. Like most people who are in the know Jie by just that description. They don't really mention her by name. But Moi is someone who is very well aware of these things. So that's very interesting. Honestly, the more she is speaking, the more she becomes interesting for me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but definitely is going up in my books as a very interesting character. I do wonder what her full background is gonna be, if we're gonna be divulging that far into her past, but we'll see. We'll see how the story develops, right? Who knows what else is gonna pop out of the story. And yeah, more backstory on the Chen family and how they were seen and what they were doing before everything went down with Chen Huxi's parents coming together and going to Lungmen, and then everything pretty much falling apart because of the events that proceeded out of that, essentially. But yeah, they were historians, which is very interesting. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like most people, or maybe even everybody up until this story, was maybe under the impression, I honestly cannot remember if any of this was mentioned before. I know her parents were slightly discussed, but I mean, Chen doesn't remember them well. Wei Yenwu intentionally is not talking a lot about them, and he was essentially the one who was teaching her the way of the sword and stuff like that. But I think it's just because of Chen in general and the Chen over in Enfield, which again is from a completely different branch of the family. But I would say because of these two Chens, everybody, including probably myself as well, probably sees Chen and thinks that their entire family line is just like sword fighters, essentially, right? At least my assumption was that probably the Chen family from back in Baizao here were also probably some form of martial artists or sword aficionados or something. I mean, if Chen picked it up so well from Wei Yenwu, that probably could mean that there is a family trait going there, but no, apparently they were historians, as her relative here is pointing out, which is very, very interesting. And yeah, they really fell on some hard times because of what happened, and Tian here had to Chao Tian here had to essentially struggle her way back into some line of work just so she could actually do some research on the whole thing, which is very interesting. Again, just like with the Yu story from last year when we got Blaze's backstory in that one, it's very interesting to see another character's story get finally like revealed in full. But I'll say Blaze's backstory probably had way more hints thrown about through a lot of places than Chen's backstory. Chen's backstory was that not I don't know, outside of that one cutscene from the main story. Again, I don't remember much about her parents being discussed. That's the thing. Blaze, I kind of remember a tiny bit better. Maybe also because of her module story that also dived a bit into her parents and the search for who they were and what what was up with them. But I don't know. Might just be me. Might just be me in that case. But anyway, let us continue on with the next stage, which is stage 7, and we are jumping for one last time back into Wang's storyline. This one is titled Severed Yearning. 1,000 ploys exhausted, the body a cage, parting from the stones from the self wedged in the gaps, and the one held in mind, between every gap, a severed slice of memory. Year 982.
20 years is a long time. Yan has moved an entire city onto a nomadic platform. Other nomadic cities like it are popping up across the land. The Sky Mirror Pavilion has been expanded several times in order to accommodate the books collected from far and wide, transforming it beyond recognition. 20 years is a short time. Our family rarely saw one another. Shuo and Ling remain on the border. Jun is planning to move to Danyan after compiling the laws of Yan. Shu is living in Dahuang. Yi and Yi travel far and wide, each for their own reasons, while Nian is as carefree as ever. Rumor has it that Fang has left Yanni's territory. Dusk refuses to come out of her scroll. Meanwhile, business at Yu's restaurant is booming, as it has been for decades. As for Wang, he shut himself in an ancient temple and has remained there for 20 years to improve his weiqi skills. When will he be willing to see me again? Jie, the Imperial Historical Cabinet wants an update on the review of Jianqi's local chronicles. Oops. You caught me slacking off. It's alright. I've already taken a look at it and circled all the issues. Do you want to take another look? Huh? When did it, You really should get some rest. It's getting to you. I've been watching you work longer hours and sleep less year after year. All the local annals, the construction chronicles, veritable records of the previous Zhulong, ancient history textbooks for the academy. I feel overworked, and all I do is organize the books for you. I've heard that the Ministry of Works requests have been dropping, and Shu's workload at Da Huang is no longer as heavy. But the burden on your shoulders doesn't ever seem to get lighter. Jie? Sorry, I got distracted. You're right, I guess I'm tired. I should set this work aside for now. Good. How about we go out for a walk in town? No, not today. I don't think I'm in the mood. But if you see anything interesting in town, bring some back for me.
Candleholder Chun.
Yes, that's me. What's the matter?
I have an urgent letter for you.
For me? From who?
Someone had sent a letter to the Sui regulator. The supervisor was shocked by its contents and forwarded it to His Majesty, as well as every candleholder who deals with the proxies directly.
What's in this?
I do not know. The supervisor's instructions to you are to be ready, but refrain from acting without permission.
What's this?
Year. Birth. Year. Fought Shuo, resulting in great property damage to the people. Year. Framed a Mandarin for a crime he did not commit in order to cover up for one of his own kind. Year. Met with other proxies in secret without the Sui regulator's knowledge. The Sui regulator suffered a fire several months later, the cause of which is unknown. Year. Claimed to kill the bestial Jew, but had in fact allowed it to leave the domain of Yan.
Framing an official, meeting in secret, arson, sheltering a Pharaoh. This is about... Wang? Did Wang really do this? But there's no record in the Sui Regulator's archives. You're still here?
I have another message for you, Candleholder Chun. Eliminate the great evil before dealing with the culprit. The frightened candleholder hurries back to the Sky Mirror Pavilion and passes by some officials leaving the building.
Did you hear about Jie?
Yeah, she's been throwing her weight around, doing whatever she wants with the history books. And there is no one in the Sky Mirror Pavilion or the Imperial Historical Cabinet who can stop her. It's becoming a real problem.
Her candleholder has been negligent in her duties. She should be held responsible if the history of Yan falls into chaos.
The candleholder turns around and sees the two figures leaving quickly. Still unsettled, she picks up a scroll left on the shelf by the Sui regulator.
Year... birth...
The candleholder knows that something is not right, but she could not stop her eyes from following the words.
Year... domination of the Sky Mirror Pavilion and the Imperial Historical Cabinet. Her intentions are pure, but no one is able to check her power. Year... the True Lung attempts to eliminate Sui to neutralize the Jie threat. The tomb of Sui was empty when it was open. Here, Imperial Historical Cabinet abolished, takes control of the written language of Yan. No one may oppose her. Here, reviews the livelihood of every household in the land. Anyone who has committed fraudulent acts has their name erased and is exiled to the borders. Thousands die. No, it's not real. None of this is true. She's not like that.
Several visitors gaze curiously at the woman in candleholder garb. Jun wipes the cold sweat on her brow and sees an ordinary book of poems in her hand.
I must be possessed. Yes, that's it. She's not like that. Are you sure she will never become like that? Of course!
The frightened candleholder can no longer tell who is talking to her.
She will change as her power continues to grow. She will become it. It? She does not want to become it. She is seeking your help. She does not want to become that. Yan is seeking your help. This ending is unacceptable to Yan. She cannot help but become more powerful, more terrible than the Sui beast itself. You must help her. Only you can help her. I can't. You'll make the choice that is best for everyone. Best for everyone? Wait, who was talking to me?
She sees no one, only the echo of the words ringing in her ears.
Your Imperial Majesty?
The young official walks into the magnificent hall. It is her first time here. The Supreme Sovereign is not sitting on the throne, but standing by the window and gazing at the drizzle outside.
You are aware that the Grand Preceptor passed away yesterday. He was your teacher and mine. He recommended you before he died. He said you were his proudest student, that you can be trusted with heavy responsibility. There were certain things that I did not have time to ask him, and so I have to ask you. I'm listening, Your Majesty. 20 years ago, the Grand Preceptor opposed my decision to build the nomadic cities. He said it was an oppressive policy, and that my first priority should be to conserve and give the people relief. 20 years have passed since. Some say that Yan's borders are secure, and its coffers rich, a golden age not seen in 1,000 years. Some say that Great Yan is exhausted and its people discontent. Do you think I was wrong? I am but one person, and it is not my place to judge your Imperial Majesty. If I were a wealthy merchant enjoying a luxurious life in a nomadic city, and I said that you were a great and wise leader, would you consider such compliment honest counsel? If I were a common peasant whose family died in the construction projects, and I called you a foolish tyrant with no merit whatsoever, would such criticism be fair and just? I ask Your Majesty in turn. Is it the opinion of future generations that you are concerned about, or is it something else? You have a way with words. Very well. I will not ask you to judge. Instead, give me a word of advice in your teacher's place. He once said something that has stayed with me my entire life. In worldly turmoil we tread, in our own conscience we trust. Even an ordinary peasant has a hard time finding a fair and impartial judgment in the complex affairs of a lifetime, let alone Your Majesty. There is no measure by which your deeds can be judged. In your heart, however, I am sure that your conscience holds the true measure.
In our own conscience we trust. What if my conscience tells me that I have never been wrong?
Then you would not have summoned me today. I would simply remind you that the people of Yan can see you, even if they do not know you. But it will take more effort if you wish, from within the Forbidden City, to see the people clearly, and thus see the good and ill of your own actions.
I will remember that. I will remember it for the 20 years to come, if I have them. The Grand Preceptor's assessment of his own student is well justified. Report to the Ministry of Rights tomorrow.
Your Imperial Majesty honors me.
The tired Trulung walks back to the throne. There is a letter of indictment on his desk. It was sent by the Sui regulator. In worldly turmoil we tread, in our own conscience we trust. A life measured in years, yet the stress feels ancient. Let future generations judge my deeds as they will, but the bane of Yan must not be left to the future. Come.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Ready, the troops. We shall open the tomb of Sui. Another long, tiring day. The proxy returns to the familiar temple and casts his gaze at the weiqi board in a corner, as is his habit. One glance is all it takes to notice that something is not right. Someone has been here. The weiqi board is empty, except for a single object in the middle, though it is dark in the room and he cannot see what it is. As he approaches, he sees that placed at the center is a ripe, white ginkgo seed. That ginkgo sapling was planted in the spring of this year. The Ministry of Works swore an oath in this hall several days ago that the rebuilding of Baizao into a nomadic city will be complete before the tree bears fruit. 20 years. That is the time you have. Immortality has made you arrogant. Perhaps you have forgotten that mortals do not have many 20 years. Yan cannot wait, and neither can I. You need not press. I have long intended the same. If you truly found a path, tell me, and I will come with you. Our chances will be better that way. Just tell me what the chances are. You can use me however you want. I would be happy to give my life. But do you really know what you're doing? This game should have been doomed. How can the part defeat the whole? How can one kill oneself and survive? But he saw the only way out for all of them. He will supplant it.
Perhaps there will come a day when our strength exceeds its. Then we can truly break free of its influence and live as ourselves. As long as we don't forget who we are, of course.
The strategist is ready. He has no equal in the land when it comes to weiqi and scheming. This is the self that anchors him, and the strength that he has built for 1,000 years. All he faces are the broken remains of a slumbering mind. He must not lose this game. It's been a long time. The arrogant, the unmovable, I. Returning to this dark tomb for the first time in 1,000 years brings back countless emotions. Anger, frustration, shame. As he steps inside, he feels himself chilled to the bone. No. No! This is impossible. How? How could you have already awakened?
Shokun, 座につけ。私の手のひらからは逃れられない。
Mission accomplished.
Year 982.
Damn, it's just a sword. How could this be screwed up? Getting rusty?
The smith scratches her head in confusion and takes out another steel ingot from storage.
Autumn is wet this year. It's suffocating. Something doesn't feel right. Huh? Impossible. This is impossible. Is it awakening?
The ink spirit lets out a worried screech. An angry cloud has appeared on the calm scroll. A crack of thunder leaves an ink trail on the white scroll, looking decidedly out of place. Countless terrible ink spirits appear out of nowhere, scattering across the scroll, covering everything on it in black ink.
I didn't paint this. Go away!
You had a long journey, Mr. Shuo. I will take you to a quiet place where you can rest. I should not delay in reporting to the Ministry of War. There has been an incident in Baizao. His Majesty commands that you are not to enter for the time being. Why? Is that the tomb of Sui? Wang, what have you done? Did the heart skip a beat, or did it beat twice in an instant? Or was it the vibration of the nomadic city from some sudden movement? Or was it... The scroll that was in the proxy's hand is now on the ground.
Wang,
What is it? Look at this! A letter of indictment for Wang? Who gave you this? Someone sent it to the Sui regulator. The supervisor had to report to His Majesty. There are rumors that the Imperial Guard is coming to the Sky Mirror Pavilion.
Finally, you're here.
Why are you, awake? No. Your aura is almost identical to its own, but you've appeared in that hollow visage.
The hollow visage that is also yours.
In any case, you're not awake. You're still in the dream.
Of course I'm awake. You had awakened me centuries ago when you intruded upon my dream.
You're bluffing. I would not be standing here if you were truly awake. You flexed in your dream and thought you had woken up. You, a mere dream walker not yet awake, dare call yourself awake?
Dream walker? Very well. We'll call this a journey in a dream. But I see in those games you and your siblings play with those puny humans, and your foolish, flawed, presumptuous plan to replace me. You want to become the same as the humans, to become such fickle, puny creatures in order to escape your fate. How pathetic. How laughable.
You forget that these puny creatures defeated you and imprisoned you for 1,000 years. Doesn't matter if you're awake. You're a shadow, a reflection, a phantom questioning its own shade, a reflection in fleeting water. Killing you will not be difficult.
Is that so?
The proxy turns around to look at the corridor that he just walked through, but finds no path.
Why are you afraid then? It took so long for you to get a chance to see me like this. If you are not afraid, why have you not torn me to pieces in your hatred? Pathetic. Foolish.
Watch your tongue.
Didn't you want to fight me to the death? Then come. Do what you do best.
A weiqi board appears in front of Wang, with a familiar crack on it. Without asking, the mysterious foe takes the white stone and goes first according to tradition. The first stone is placed in the Tianyuan position, the center of the board. First move, Tianyuan. Are you mocking me?
You'll find out when the game has ended. Your turn.
He takes a black piece. The 19 by 19 board is intimately familiar to him. He has not tasted defeat in a long time. Yet it seems as though his opponent sees through his every move, every thought, every emotion. He soon finds himself at a disadvantage, even though his opponent had forfeited the opening move. Impossible.
Why would it be? Have you not realized that all the intricate moves that you have pondered all your puny stratagems are no secrets to me?
Because I am you. Giving up already? No, that won't do. You must finish the game. So be it. He clenches his teeth and picks up another stone. Every move causes a splitting headache. Every move drains his spirit. The game is finally concluded after another 100 moves or so, with all endgame plays settled. Black wins by the slimmest of margins, half a point, as the points are tallied. The player is exhausted, at his last gasp. You lose, arrogant as ever. Leaving aside whether this child's play even counts, do you think this is the only game between us? Huh? The name of this game is Wang. You may have won this round, but have you any idea how insignificant it is in the big picture? Step back, go there and look back, and see if there is any meaning in these moves that took every last drop of your being. Against his will, Wang gets up and takes a few steps back. It is only a few steps, but the board that he has been seeing has shrunk to a tiny piece. No matter how you flail and struggle, it is no more than 1/12 of the game. All the twists and turns of your black pieces have not determined the outcome of a single corner. Why do you think you can make me concede? Wang forces himself to look. It is no longer a 19 by 19 board, but hundreds of lines vertical and across. The game that he had poured his heart and soul into just to win by a hair looks utterly insignificant on the vast board. Countless white pieces, as many as there are stars in the sky, lie beyond the board, which itself seems endless. There is no room to intervene in their formation, as immutable as Sui's anger and contempt, which have simmered for 1,000 years. You planned this. Of course I planned this. This plan began to take form in my countless dreams, ever since you glimpsed into my mind centuries ago. A white would begin to lay the pieces around you, quietly and unbeknownst to you. What you have done, he made a note of. What you did not finish, he finished for you. What you did not do, he did in your image. He made you wary of the humans wary of you, forcing you and your kind to return here, the source of your immortality for centuries. Why do you care that we live? As long as I live, you will always have a choice. The last thing that God wants to see, to return to my consciousness and destroy everything that was built upon the Great Hunt. As long as you live, I will never regain my full strength. Strength that will allow me to break my shackles. Our lives are too intertwined for peace to be a possibility. Yet, you would seek peace with the humans? None
would not abide me, who almost became their god. Why would they abide you when you replace me?
You are not worthy to play this board. I will take your life, then the lives of your siblings. Vanish now as your inevitable fate.
The true Long let Wang go to the tomb of Sui alone. He would not have given Wang the opportunity to tell me. He never wanted to hurt anyone. Words were never his strong suit. He was obsessed with victory and defeat, but cared nothing for loss and gain. The shrewdest and the most foolish among us. He saw through every scheme and treachery, but he could not do something as simple as letting those around him truly know him. Besides, am I not the proxy that the Sui regulator and you have always feared the most? I knew, or rather I knew they would tell you. I can feel it, even if you didn't say anything. I thought I could control this power in time. Lately though, I'm feeling less and less like myself. My memories began to grow indistinct many years ago. In recent years, the same has happened to my emotions. Perhaps, There's something I want to ask you, Chun, impolite as it may be. What did you feel when your mother died?
Underneath her thick black hair, the elf's ears twitched.
Why do you ask? Because there is still hope for Wang. You're going to save him? As it stands, with my strength and his, I can do no more than die in his place. What is the death of a family member like? For beings like you and me? Why do you ask? Why do you have to open my wounds?
Suddenly, Chun understands. Jie is asking for herself and for Wang. If losing a loved one is merely a little speck of sorrow in a long life, then she will choose death and leave the insignificant sorrow to Wang and become a loss that stings a little from time to time for her siblings. If the pain of losing a loved one still threatens to tear one apart, even for those with lifespans far beyond the ordinary mortal, then she will choose to bear the unbearable pain and the burden of those left behind, seeing the task of eliminating Sui through to the end. An immortal being, facing the possibility of losing family forever for the first time. Though she has written about meetings and partings innumerable times, finding no other measure to judge by, she can only rely on Chun to make a decision. She only has to tell the truth, that the pain of losing a loved one does not heal so easily, even after decades, after centuries. That death is liberation and life is pain. Which way the scale tips is obvious. That it was best for Wang to let him go, that Jie should remain and feel the pain that lingers. Wang reaps the death that he sowed while Jie remains. It is how things should be. That Jie would cautiously advance the cause of eliminating Sui without crossing the line as Wang did, incurring the wrath of the true Long when the Sui regulator received an anonymous tip. But eliminate the great evil before dealing with the culprit. There is no one in the Sky Mirror Pavilion or the Imperial Historical Cabinet who can stop her. It's becoming a real problem. She should be held responsible if the history of Yan falls into chaos. Imperial Historical Cabinet abolished. takes control of the written language of Yan, no one may oppose her. Reviews the livelihood of every household in the land. Anyone who has committed fraudulent acts has their name erased and is exiled to the borders. Thousands die. Chaotic, murky memories grip the candle holder's heart. It is not right. She seems to remember that none of these speakers had faces. Something is not right. It is false, fabricated, designed to drive a rift between candleholder and proxy, turn them against each other. But is it not a fact that Jie's power is growing? She will become more powerful, more terrible than the Sui beast itself. She cannot help it. I must help her. I must do my duty to Great Yan. Two entwined wills surge in her chest. One belongs to her, the other to those faceless people, but also to a Yan that does not want to give a proxy complete control over history. She cannot help but suspect that the recruitment by the Sui regulator was not luck, but planned. She was assigned to watch the most difficult proxy to control because of her long lifespan. She would understand the monster that Jie would become because of her interest in history. She would lose her hard-earned home if she betrayed Great Yan, because she has nowhere to go. Is that why? She feels the crushing weight of her burden. A rumbling sound fills her mind, and she cannot think. She must do her duty to Yan, do her duty as a candleholder. By chance she has seen Jie at her most fragile. She must let the great evil take the culprit's place. It would be best for the proxies even. Yan would lose a reason to wage war on them.
My mother... When she passed, I felt very little. The pain tore you apart. I felt as though the death of my mother left a hole in my heart, made me find something new to fill it. It was as though your heart was ripped out from your chest, leaving behind a bloody hole, and you know that nothing would ever fill it, that things would never be the same again. I cried when I buried her, but that was it. I stopped crying very soon. You had cried your tears dry by the time the last dirt was laid over your mother's face, but still you could not stop crying. You had no idea what to do. Our journey is a long one. We'll find new things and meet new people. That will soothe the temporary pain. Your life is too long, and the lasting things too few. When you lose them, they leave behind voids that can never be filled, wounds that never heal. I hardly ever think of my mother anymore, because I have... you. I have other friends. Your loved ones appear in your dreams. They come to you when you're alone. The pain grips your heart when you hear songs like the melodies that she once hummed. There is nowhere to run. When I'm with you, I'm happy.
She barely managed to utter those last few words. So great was her urge to throw up. She could hardly breathe. She dares not look into the proxy's eyes. She fears that the one before her would be blinded by her words and truly believe that loss is something that can be soothed by time. She fears that the one before her would see through her lies, see her wild intentions, and despise her. She fears herself for saying those words.
I see. Thank you. You're a good candle holder. Huh?
The The murk in the candle holder's chest suddenly clears. There is only an empty hole there now. Wind blows through the hole and speaks in her voice.
Dear, It was a cruel question, but I asked because my heart was in turmoil. On second thought, I would likely have made the same decision, whether I asked the question or not. I regretted it as soon as I asked. You're smart. You would have realized that I was forcing my candle holder to choose my death or Wang's. I shouldn't have made you do this. You didn't say anything about yourself. You chose to communicate Great Yan's will to me. That's all. Death is an adventure that is unique for everyone. There is no previous experience to draw from. We must each walk our own path. The local annals that needed to be edited are on my desk. Take them to the Sui regulator when you have the time. Dear.
Chun fights back her tears. Even crying would be a lie, here and now. But the hole in her chest continues to sob, a sound that only she can hear. Finally, she forces a few sorrowful, powerless words from her chest.
I'll be going. You, take care. What's going on, Jie? The Imperial Guard is coming to the Sky Mirror Pavilion, and I almost got shut inside my own home by my candle holder. Did something happen to Wang? You can hear it, can't you? It's a heartbeat. He went into the tomb of Sui! When? 2 hours ago. We can talk about the rule breaking later. The court clearly wants to exclude us, and time is short. What's your plan? I'm going to help Wang. I'll go with you. No. Why? He and I will take care of this. Are you sure? I'm sure. He and I have been making plans to eliminate Sui. There is no time to explain the plan right now. Your presence will not help. It will only increase the risk. Besides, there's something that I must ask you to do. Take care of this writing knife. Your powers should be able to preserve it. What are you planning? How bad have things gotten? It will not awaken. Not yet. I can promise you this. And so can Wang. But you... Someone will come back. Either you or him. I'm coming with you. No, Jun. I truly mean no offense. I need to entrust this writing knife to the keeping of someone who is absolutely just and impartial. If someone with ill intent gets their hands on it, it will do far more damage than the death of a single proxy. I thought about destroying it. In the end, I felt that it was worth preserving. The wrongs of the past should be rightened, though I do not know at what price. Perhaps the writing knife will be of help to you, or to Yan, until the day comes when no one can use it anymore. Don't be like this, Jun. Maybe I'll come back with Wang. Then we'll go together to eat at Yu's and listen to you sing. And if I never return, there's a long road ahead of you.
It is not so easy to not look back. She looks at the innumerable lives and deaths recorded upon the shelves, many of which she had written with her own pen. Would she become one of them? How would those who come after depict this life, one that seems too long for others to comprehend, yet far too hurried for herself? How would the other siblings react when they read those pages? No, there will be no record of her. She knows it. Of all the siblings, she is the one who has spent the most time with Wang. She has given Wang ideas for his plans, helped him calculate the conditions and timing for Sui's elimination. She can guess what is happening in the tomb of Sui. The clear and distinct heartbeat has already told her the full story. There is no other way. She must use her powers to erase the name. She has spent much more time in the mortal realm than ordinary people. Everyone dies. It is precisely the cycle of life and death that made possible the innumerable ways of life that have fascinated her, as well as her siblings. But if death is such an unremarkable thing, like a wisp of smoke in the wind, what is living, truly? Light from the setting sun pours into the room upon the countless history tomes, as though relentlessly pouring through traces of the past. Every word in these scrolls was written with tears of blood, but the only thing written on the last page is the word regret.
The sun's rays by the window. How warm.
But she does not walk towards the sunlight. She leaves the room into the darkness of the tomb. No words need to be said. Wang knows it is a fragment it has retrieved from his own memory, an image that he has never forgotten for even a moment in the last 120 years. He lies exhausted on the ground. 100 white pieces on the board have turned into blades that impale his chest, and he is slowly inundated by the pure white, until the golden light surrounds him. I'm sorry. Wait for me. Wait for me to come back. For you to come back. It was the other side of the dream, a place that he should not have been able to touch. But she seems to notice him and turns around to look at him. There is a faint smile on Jie's face, and she nods lightly. The light gushes from behind her, surrounding the figure, swallowing it, dissolving it, sweeping away the dream realm and revealing the true face of this place. This was one of those very hard to do stages. And a very hard read for the first time. I will not lie. Alright, before we continue or discuss this one, first off, one new enemy here, and this one is very weirdly very appropriate for this stage, titled Ribbon in the Waves. Script guy is born of the influence of a Sui proxy whose original name was Falsehood. He who claims himself pure should be cast into murky waters. Purity and corruption, truth and falsehood are never decided by the Finns swimming in the river. That is a very appropriate enemy for the stage to be introduced here. But yeah, this was a very heavy read. This is one of those times where you already know it's coming. You already know it's coming, but I think it hurts a lot more to read through a story section like this one because you know it's coming, and probably because you know that you're just that no matter what, both you, the characters in the story, they're all powerless to stop what's about to happen, right? Gia's departure there and that stuff, pretty hard to read through, just like another story where we knew from the beginning that a character in the story is gonna be dead by the end of it. but yeah, still doesn't make it easier. Doesn't make it easier. It makes it pretty tough to read through for the first time. Also, Jun breaking down on the knife handover was or rather just adds to the whole experience. By the way, for people who just listen mostly and are not either because of other obligations or whatever, not capable of watching the stream, I would highly recommend going back into the cutscene and when you can and rewatch the whole scene with Jie and Chun, as Chun is encouraging her for what she's about to do, but inner monologue is fighting back essentially. I want you guys to go back and rewatch the scene if you couldn't watch properly. Just pay attention to how many times they keep switching out Chun's face, like shifting her facial expressions back and forth between like having like a false smile, almost false encouragement smile on her face and expression to understanding what she is saying, like the sadness, the fighting back, the inner monologue. It's a very well done scene. They keep switching so many times back and forth. It's such a well done scene, and it's so hard to watch. And yeah, but yeah, it's also hard to watch the whole scene because all of them are just being tricked into the whole thing. As seen from the very beginning, this whole shtick of pressing Jie into doing this exact thing has started with that sliver of consciousness from the Sui that came into being, that woke up. Sui was essentially manipulating this whole thing and manipulating Jie into action, manipulating everybody else to be even more aware of these siblings, pretty much sowing discord essentially between Yan and the proxies even more than they were already kind of starting to be kind of suspicious of them. And this was just a boiling point. Chun was essentially the one who was the trigger for this final act, which is sad. But then regardless, at the beginning it's also very interesting to watch how Jie has also started to change, like very slowly, like as her own powers are growing, something in her is slowly also changing, which is, it's interesting, but it's kind of hard to imagine what the hell would have happened with her if she would have stayed alive. Would she have just become like a powerful medium for the preservation of history, that she would not allow anybody to change or alter it, and she would, and neither would she mess around with it? Like, she's almost ascending to like a level of like a level of a supercomputer that is pretty much just dealing with stuff on autopilot around her. I don't know. It's very interesting, the development that she was going through, and like just imagining how she would have ended up if another 100 or 200 years. Her enlightenment would be an interesting depiction of what would happen. Would she just become part of, like, would her enlightenment, like, Shuo's whole shtick was to put himself into the sword and create the human body that we know as Chongyue, but what would a Jie's whole shtick then ended up being? Maybe she would have gotten to the point where her power would have reached a zenith, and she would have become part of not just the history of Yan, but Yan itself. Kinda imprisoning her own body, or putting her own actual body into the land and into its history as part of the whole thing, while then, just like Chongyue, creating a human counterpart, a mortal counterpart that she could pilot around or something. I don't know, but it's an interesting development, and this definitely was a sad cutscene. That's all I can say here. But anyway, we continue on to our final stage for today, which is TA8, Golden Erasing Blade. Their words can be erased by a writing knife, their pages burned by a candle flame. Historical manuscripts are fragile, as is the history they contain.
Your uniform suits you.
Supervisor, Zula reporting.
At ease. No need to be too uptight on your first day on the job. Better that you maintain your youthful energy.
Understood, Supervisor.
Do you know where we are, Zula?
Upon the peaks was the beast cornered and killed. This was the battlefield where we killed a Faramud during the Great Hunt. But, Zola pauses, unsure if he can continue, until he sees the patient gaze of the supervisor. This was also where countless soldiers and civilians lost their lives, where living, breathing people faded into a graveyard of lines of cold numbers between the pages.
You have realized something that many candle holders older than you do not. Carry the fire that drives out the shadows of the Faramut and travel amongst the people to learn their troubles. It was the first candle holder holding the torch that discovered the existence of the Faramuts that made possible the war with the gods which secured Yan's future. Even today, the existence of Faramuts is only known to a select few, which makes it all the more important that the candle holder's fire remains brightly lit where shadows fall.
I will do my utmost to protect the people.
I am glad to see your resolve, but let me ask you again. What are the Faramuts in your eyes? What are the proxies who live amongst us within the season, on whom we keep a constant watch?
The hearts of people are fickle. The hearts of beasts even more so. Perhaps some amongst them have once aided Yan, be it out of a whim or true sincerity. But weighing the pros and cons, ultimately, they are different from us. They are enemies.
Enemies, you say? Enemies.
One day before the day of the full moon, out of you. Supervisor, what are you doing here?
That question should be mine to ask. Where have you taken the token from the Garden of Groutesqueries after the placation was completed?
Something was not right at the Sui regulator, and scriptgeists were running amok in the Sky Mirror Pavilion. I wanted to wait for the situation to settle down before seeking your counsel.
Then you can give it to me here. I have heard that it was not the usual Jade rule that was retrieved from the Garden of Groutesqueries this year. I will bring it back to the Sui regulator for further investigation.
Acting on a subconscious instinct, Zula finds himself taking a step back from his familiar superior.
My. I did not think there would come a day when Candleholder Zuo defied his orders.
Cut the crap. You're Chun, head of the Sui regulator.
A Shanghai member in the Sky Mirror Pavilion. A highly ranked one too, judging from your attire. Under normal circumstances, the patrol battalion would have faced severe penalties. And this is... Lady Chen.
You're Zula's boss.
Though I am unworthy of this position, it is my duty.
What are you doing here? Waiting for us to walk into a trap?
Unfortunately, it is not you that I am waiting for. Hand over the token, Zula, and you may leave with your friends. We can discuss your association with undesirable elements later.
I thought you would tell him to take me in on the spot to make up for his transgressions.
We are in the courts of Yan, not some bandit camp.
Fine enough for you to say. Who was it who encouraged Jie to enter the tomb of Sui, so that the more dangerous proxy for Yan would die in Wang's place, catapulting her own career in the process? Yan would be ashamed to have a descendant like you. Moi, the supervisor is not like that! Really? Then why did she become the supervisor so soon after Jie's death?
Only a thief sees thieves everywhere. Keep your mouth shut, for you are not worthy to speak her name. The Imperial Court of Yan does not pause or waver for any person or thing. All that it does is measured against the interests of Great Yan.
The interests of Great Yan?
It seems Lady Chen has something to say. Very well. I will give you 3 minutes, in consideration of the risks that Zula ran to retrieve this object from the Garden of Groutesqueries. There is someone I am waiting for anyway. Ask your questions, then leave the token and leave this place.
Waiting for someone?
Yes, waiting for someone.
Is it the proxy who holds the key?
Why do you say that?
Geists run rampant through Baizao, but Zula is the only one who is trying to tackle the script geists at the source, and on no orders at that. The LGD was never so negligent, even when Wei Yenwu's oversight was at its laxest. The first thing you asked about when you saw Zula was not the scriptgeists, but the token from the Garden of Groutesqueries. You seem to care nothing for your responsibilities.
The Sui regulator is not the police.
Who in Baizao is more qualified than the Sui regulator to deal with the scriptgeists? Your goals are aligned with the Grand Commandant's. You want the riding knife. And if Moi is telling the truth, no one in Baizao is closer to the riding knife than Jun.
You do the LGD proud, Superintendent.
Why are you assisting the Grand Commandant's plot? What do you plan to do with Wei Yenwu? Or have you already joined forces with him?
Plot? You may have been an excellent officer of the law, Lady Chen, but it is not your place to intervene in matters of national interest.
I've been to places and seen things. There's no need for grandiose words. If your plot is indeed in the interest of the nation, you should feel no shame in saying it aloud. Only those involved in political squabbles would keep bringing up national interest when questioned, beating around the bush and deflecting the question.
You should be careful with your words, Lady Chen. The matters of state are complex and interconnected, and it is not unusual for officials to have different views. Your words insult all who serve the state. For 1,000 years, the Sui regulator has had one mission and one alone: to do what is best for Yan in matters pertaining to Farenmutz. Nothing else matters to us. Even if the Grand Commandant's actions are indeed drastic, extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures. The use of the riding knife does not constitute treason.
Then what is he planning?
At this point, I doubt this damned old elf is gonna talk, so I'll do the talking for her. Just as I suspected, the Grand Commandant wants to rewrite history with the riding knife and completely eliminate the bestial Sui. The price is the true Lung's life.
But why? What does the true Lung's life have to do with destroying a Farenmut?
We were just talking about it before we were interrupted. 1,000 years ago, the Grand Master discovered a piece of originium that he presented to the true Lung as a weapon that can end the Great Hunt. Realizing its importance, the true Lung had his Feng Shi perform a ritual that linked it to the true Lung's bloodline. Henceforth, the power of the originium may only be harnessed by the reigning true Lung. That true Lung had a bit of a conscience at least, and he set a condition in the ritual, probably to prevent his descendants from abusing it. The full power of the originium can only be unleashed by sacrificing the life of the true Lung. Hence it was given the name Bu Fan, no rebellion. But does the true Lung's life to be sacrificed really have to be the Emperor's? Why did the Grand Commandant go to such painstaking lengths to obtain this riding knife, if his goal was merely a coup?
You mean the Grand Commandant wants to use the riding knife to change the record of who the current true Lung is?
The Grand Preceptor incited the prince to regicide. What is the truth of what happened that night? Who sent the Yulin Guard away? Who actually entered the Emperor's chambers? These things are not specified in the records. Therefore, the records of what happened that night can still be rewritten using the riding knife. If the history books and Bu Fan recognize Lord Wei as the reigning true Lung, then the life of the true Lung obviously refers to Lord Wei's life.
I thought that you were young, and that, though you may have strayed from the righteous path, you should be given the chance to right your wrongs. Regrettably, it seems I cannot allow you to live.
Not putting on a show of honesty and uprightness anymore, are we?
Supervisor!
Hand over the token, Zula. Whatever happens after that is none of your concern.
If what Mo Yi says is true, then I voice my dissent to your method, Supervisor. I cannot comply.
I don't want to damage the Sky Mirror Pavilion. Don't make me do this.
You're talking to the wrong person. I have the token. Shen's vision is obstructed by several maple leaves. The lamplight sways slightly. Chen steps back and prepares to engage, only for Mo Yi to step forward and block Chun's attack.
So the supervisor of the Sui regulator is not above sneak attacks, like a thief.
One can be subtle and reserved with words, but action must be decisive and without hesitation. It is as true in weiqi as it is with all things in life.
Supervisor. I have read about the riding knife in the past. In Jia's hands, it can indeed alter history and greatly influence events. But we are not proxies. Our tempered historical records will never endure for long.
An instant is all it takes to activate Bufan. Besides...
After this, there will no longer be a disgraced despot crown prince in Yan, only a pure, true Lung, whose legitimacy is beyond question. Is that right?
That is not the Sui regulator's concern. Since her death, Great Yan's history is already in tatters. One more change will hardly make a difference. How can you be so sure that we cannot record history truthfully? Chen Chao Chien, Magistrate of Water for the Sky Mirror Pavilion.
I wanted to ask you as well, Supervisor. For many years, you assisted GA in compiling history in her office. Why is it that you have now turned to tampering with history?
The records of Yan are classified into 4 parts: classics, history, philosophy, and literature. The divisions of history and philosophy may seem distinct, but even the masterwork of the one venerated as the saint of history was merely the personal treatise within philosophy. Those who follow, modeling their brushes after his style, produce what is ultimately but the statement of a single house, and the House of Yan. Those writings are no more than comments after the fact. The truth has long faded into the cracks of time. How could you say that? You must have read the Saint of History's notes. Despite imprisonment and torture, he always wrote the facts as they were and exposed injustice. You must have read the history tomes of the Sky Mirror Pavilion, written by thousands of sages who poured their hearts and souls into them, striving to set the record straight, to weigh every word in judgment of right and wrong. You must have heard of unofficial historians, meticulously investigating and analyzing their sources, coveting not the court's wealth and rank, but striving only to uphold justice for the common people. I saw with my own eyes the elders of my family dying on white fields of snow because they wanted to write down the truth. Nay, because they were honest to themselves. These people who wrote history with their own flesh and blood, who willingly became the flame to illuminate the truth even for a moment. Who are they to you, Supervisor? They are the writers. True and false, right and wrong. These things always depend on the stance of the writer, rather than on what is actually right. You ought to know, even with the revisions of countless esteemed scholars, the histories we read are still rife with embellishment, omissions, and lies. The ironic thing is, we could not even call such things evil.
The curled leaves make a sharp sound against each other, questioningly, lamentingly.
Stand back, Chen Chao Chien. You are neither candleholder nor Shanghai Zhong, nor the niece of a despot crown prince. This is not your fight. Did the Imperial Historical Cabinet truly take up responsibility for writing history after her passing? Did the Sky Mirror Pavilion truly fulfill its duty of righting the wrongs? You are the descendant of historians. If you take up their mantle, can you truly guarantee that every word will be true for all eternity? No, you dare not shoulder this responsibility. I know about you. You wanted to change the Sky Mirror Pavilion's culture of obsession with the analysis of ancient history while neglecting recent history. That's why you took up a minor position at the Sky Mirror Pavilion, hoping to lead by example by studying your family's history. Decades, centuries, millennia. How could you claim to speak for history when you have not borne witness to time on the scale that she knew? Stand back.
The maple leaves sharpen. This time no one saw what Chun did. all she did was wave her sleeve. The next instant, Chen Qian was lying unconscious on the floor. Chao Qian? Supervisor.
She's just unconscious. She'll wake up in a couple of hours. There is no need for her to sink any deeper in this mire. She is but an unfortunate, ordinary woman. She shouldn't have to be like you, or like me.
I hear elves live a long time.
We do.
You don't believe in history or in lasting justice in people's hearts because the one who walked side by side with you on the long road of time died because of you?
This question is not yours to ask, Chongyue.
As an elf, you don't know where you came from, whether there are any of your kind left, or whether there'll ever be a home for you.
My past, present, and future belong to Yan.
And that involves tossing your fellows into the abyss?
Having her die in Wang's place was the appropriate decision under the circumstances. This is beyond all doubt. Compiling history, recording the passage of time, have you any idea of the power of these years? The power of time? The beast walks with the generous earth. She had gone one step further. Her power was rooted in words and lived in history. As long as the records of Yang continued, her power would continue to grow without end. If left unchecked, what sort of monster would be created in the end? It would be something even more powerful, even more terrible than Sui itself! She was my mentor, my confidant, my friend, but I could not endanger Great Yan with my own selfish interests.
I've seen people like you. People who abandon their friends, but long to see them again in dreams in order to beg for forgiveness. Head of the Sui regulator, what would you do if there was a way to see her again?
I warn you, do not play games with the lives of millions for the fantasies of a madman. Wang did not go into the tomb of Sui for the sole purpose of eliminating Sui. The object that he had you retrieve from the Garden of Groutesqueries surely has something to do with his deranged plans to bring the dead back to life.
I'm surprised. I thought you got along well with her when you were her candle holder. Isn't there a part of you, somewhere, that wants his plan to succeed?
He already failed 120 years ago. He will fail again. Allowing him to continue on his reckless path will only lead to more disaster. How can I trust a madman who treats heaven and earth as his weiqi board and all lives and souls as his pieces? How can I trust a sinner who caused the death of his sister? How can I trust the obsession of a Faranmut?
Because, like you, he walked this land, lived in the seasons, and vowed to become human, to become part of this land and those who live upon it.
Human? Humans are humans because they live and die. This is why they shine, as the candle's fleeting glow. She has lived and she has died. Wang seeks to disturb the slumber of the dead, in defiance of the laws of heaven. Even if his delusion somehow came true, how can you be sure that it is the departed herself who has returned and not a geist? A hollow puppet that only carries her image?
You just don't want to believe.
Things seldom go the way people want them to.
The outcome may not be exactly what we want, but to be shackled by regret and not even have the courage to take a single step, that is nothing but cowardice.
You have a way with words, Chongyue, but I don't see how you intend to carry out the justice you speak of. The token and the key, I'm only here for them. Continue to play games with words, and I will crush you before dealing with them.
Let's see who's crushing who.
What about you, Zula?
I apologize, but I must cause offense.
Huh, so be it. Those who stay near ink get stained. You've made some good friends, Candleholder Duo. Do your worst.
もはや部に頼るしかないのでしょうか。心得者どもめ。どれほど小さな変化があっても見逃しません。関所抜刀。言葉では伝わりにくい分別は発するにあたりてすなわち立つ。7月ルカのごとく、これはまた秋の涼しさが訪れるね。兵法すでに筆とならば、特色のシュナルを投げかんや。
You almost hit a bookshelf. I am no swordswoman, and I have no interest in admiring Shishao, but it would be a shame if your sword ruins the collection of the Sky Mirror Pavilion.
But you are not confident about taking the token from me.
Is that so?
The elf now truly waves her jade scepter and twig for the first time. Withered vines rush out from the ground, forming massive hands.
Damn it, she's a nightmare to deal with. Is the Sui regulator supervisor decided through combat?
How does the book go anyway? Ah, I remember. And it's autumn. This is perfect. Metal's nature is change. Take this!
For a thief, you're pretty well learned.
I wouldn't be surprised if I know yin-yang and the 5 elements better than someone who's forgotten her roots.
Zula, Chongyue, your turn.
Zola charges towards Chun, intent on disrupting her ability to respond. Meanwhile, Chongyue pulls back, waiting for an opportunity to strike. In between them, Moi unleashes razor-sharp autumn winds, tangling with divine hands. The supervisor of the Sui regulator continues to stand where she is, utterly impassive, as though she is watching a farce that she is becoming increasingly bored with. Chongyue continues to back off until her back is almost touching the closed door.
Damn, can't hold on much longer.
Chen! Shishao. Split the clouds! Riding on the autumn wind, the sword aura sweeps away all the vines. The elf looks surprised for a brief moment. Then, dried leaves sharp as razor fly out from the vines towards the trio. Moi urgently casts a defensive spell, but the leaves cut their clothes and bags open. The token that has slumbered since it was retrieved from the Garden of Groutesqueries falls on the ground.
This is the token from the Garden of Groutesqueries. It is a Geist.
It is, indeed, a Geist. The weiqi player had taken Sui's wildest imagination from the Garden of Groutesqueries and hollowed out the interior, leaving only the gleaming exterior. The memories of his siblings were then injected to create this object. Made of a glass-like substance, the tiny Geist lies immobile on the ground for a while. Then, it seems to grow ethereal. It awakens. It does not seem to feel pain. Or perhaps the pain was overcome by the urge to return to this familiar place. She begins to stumble towards the door.
That is impossible.
All it takes is a single thought from the elf, and the churning winds could shatter the object to smithereens. But Chun cannot bring herself to do it, because she truly does see a familiar figure in it. The object touches the door, and it is as though a dream that has slumbered for 100 years is suddenly awakened by an intruder. The falling dust forms thousands of golden threads drifting in the air in the setting sun. The sliver of life force ripples. All breaths are held as they see the ethereal figure that drifts between light and shadow in the falling dust. It is blurry, indistinct. The only clear feature its grey robe, like paper that has grown yellow from the passage of time, but still smelling faintly of old books and dried ink. The door opens slowly.
How do you get in if you give me the key? Why should the master of the house need a key?
The shadow bends slightly, as though trying to pick up the cracked scroll on the desk. Or perhaps it is walking towards the window to open the sash closed for so long, to see if the osmanthus that was young back then has bloomed this year. But her movement ultimately freezes between the done and the undone, a faint wisp of melancholy suspended in the sunset.
Put this scroll on the shelf by the wall. Leave that document on the desk. It's not yet finished. A painting from dusk? I should find a good place to hang it. Why do I have to do these chores for you? Oh, but Neon said her candle holder even helps her put together mahjong games.
Desk, chair, and scrolls. Every object in the room breathes with the shadow. They are her old friends, and she is the reason they never left. A gust of wind blows through the room. The Geist falls asleep, and the shadow dissipates like a drop of ink that falls into water, leaving behind only that which is real, the shadows of dust. And the sun shining into an empty room.
It's her. No, she was a little taller, her hair a little blacker. She was thin, but not like that.
She cannot would not accept. Yet there is a single question that she could never answer. Who else could it be?
Who else could it be?
The stunned elf does not even notice the appearance of the proxy, one who is very much flesh and blood. She continues to stand at the same spot, staring in the direction where the shadow disappeared.
I came as you asked. But it seems you no longer have anything to say to me. It's her. It's really her. I never thought... I didn't think there was any trace of her existence left. There is no doubt about it. It's a sliver of her life force, which those young people retrieved from the Sui's remnant consciousness. As for traces of her existence, they are in the books of the Sky Mirror Pavilion, in countless scholars across the land of Yan. Now, do you still believe that everything we siblings have done since Jia's disappearance is futile, Candleholder Chun? If we can still find a trace of her somewhere, tell her.
The long-lived candleholder chokes on her own words. She gazes wordlessly at the study, the interior of which has not changed for a century. Having taken it all in, she turns around and slowly walks towards the exit, fighting the urge to look back at every step. Leaving this place she knows best, yet brings her the most despair.
I did not know that Wang's obsession was this paranoid, yet so deep.
I saw you at the city gates.
And we meet again.
You are, Jun?
Thank you for protecting her token.
Lady Jun, no, Master Jun. I heard you were a close friend of our Grandmaster's, and have long heard your name spoken of with reference. It is an honor to meet you.
Don't try to curry favor with me. I'm not even sure if I had been born at the time of the old carpenter's death. I'm glad to see that someone still remembers his views after 1,000 years have passed. But did you do what you did at Mangshan Town out of a desire for peace? Or out of your own bitter cynicism? Do you really need me to tell you? The old Tianxia gave you an opportunity to make up for your transgressions. Have you done so?
The proxy does not raise her voice, and there is no anger in it, but her voice naturally begets respect. I've long heard of the second Sui sister's unapproachable nature. Today I got to witness it.
There is always hope for those who learn from their mistakes. Zula!
Academician Jun.
Words cannot express my gratitude for you bringing back this sliver of Jia's life force from the Garden of Groutesqueries. Our family will remember that favor and repay it when the time is right.
I'm simply doing my duty as a candleholder. The supervisor lost her composure, but the candle of the Sui regulator remains lit.
She was trapped between the greater good and personal desire, and was eventually crushed by her own obsessions. You must not repeat her mistakes when the time comes for you to take on great responsibility.
Me?
Now, though, it is more useful for you to go outside than to stay here and look at the relics of the past. Take this girl too, and put her somewhere safe downstairs. It is late autumn, and the floor is cold.
I trust you will handle the matter of the writing knife properly, Academician Jun.
Of course. One more request, if I may.
Jun turns around and picks up the Geist from the ground. She has turned back into the small, quiet doll perhaps exhausted from the action she just performed.
You know that this guise was formed by the last speck of GS life force. Wang drew you into the game and had you retrieve this object so that you could deliver it here and allow it to recuperate, in preparation for her return. But consider it a burst of sentimentality from a reunion with someone long thought lost. Please deliver it to the tomb of Sui. The future is yet unsettled. Our family will gather outside the tomb. I do not know if the day will come when Jia returns, but if Wang sees it as Jia's foundation, she should be there for this meeting. Wang is in the tomb, and I must help him. There will be a battle. Carrying this object would be unsafe, and perhaps cause a delay. Leave it to me.
The Shanghai Zhong snatches the token from the woman's hands before the candle holder can react.
I will see it done, in the name of Zhu Shi.
The dignified woman bows deeply to the two youngsters.
Thank you.
Lady Jun,
You blocked the attack against me at the gate and protected Jia's legacy. Has chivalry become a habit of yours?
I do what I do for the sake of justice.
What is justice?
Justice is making sure that Wei Yenwu does not die an unjust death and giving the old case a proper trial. Justice is bringing closure to all that has happened between mother and father, between the imperial family and the House of Chen. Justice is making sure that the proxy who did so much for Great Yan did not die in vain, and giving Great Yan a chance at peace.
What about justice for you, as an infected?
I have seen so much suffering in my journeys. This land has been too kind to me. I wield my justice for the sake of others.
Very well. I can't help you with the justice you seek, but perhaps her relic can.
Do you mean the writing knife?
Take it. The justice you seek is closely linked to the incident 40 years ago. You are the only one to whom I can entrust this knife, who can right the wrongs for your family, for your country. There should be closure to the matters of the Shen family, Lord Wei's decision, and the 1,000 years of records for the land on which she once lived and breathed. These were the hopes that she placed upon the writing knife. The history of Great Yan should be written by the Anise people. Come with me.
They walk into the room. Like revisiting a scene from an old play, Jun slowly walks through the room that has not changed one bit in the past century. Everything is familiar. No one has touched it for 100 years.
It's been a while. The writing knife has resurfaced, but it is no longer in your hands. If I have entrusted it to the wrong person, I will shoulder the responsibility for any consequence on your behalf.
Chen's palm closes around the knife. Her fingertip trembles, as if the weight of 1,000 books is upon her heart. She has given her all, wholeheartedly, and sacrificed herself selflessly. Now everything has come together as appointed. She clutches the writing knife. In her eyes, something sinks, and something else burns bright. It is the weight of an era, and a reunion that the knife has long awaited.
I hope you will not disappoint.
I will not disappoint.
What's going on? These guys just appeared out of nowhere.
The annals of Mangshan Town record that similar scenes of rampaging geists were spotted during the turmoil caused by Sui 120 years ago. Is the bestial Sui awakening?
What a headache. Guess it's happened after all. Number 2, you fool. Why are you dilly-dallying? How many times do I have to bail you out? Ling Xingyan. What are your instructions? This is where the geists are most rampant. They must not be allowed to enter Baizao. You and I will guard this pass. Do not let a single geist through. Yes, master. I can't hear you, girl. Look lively. Treat this as your entrance exam. Pass the test, and I'll take you as my student. Then you can make your old teacher call you master. I wouldn't dare.
Is there anything that I can help with?
Help? What could you do? Watch my moves and record them. Then you can show them to your teacher and see who's better. The fire rises.
Wait for me. You run too fast. What's the matter? You were the one who was in a hurry. If you're out of breath, give it to me, and I'll deliver it.
In your dreams! You blockhead! Did you think about how we're supposed to enter the tomb of Sui when we arrive?
We'll explain it to the soldiers guarding the tomb and ask them to let us through.
Right. And how do you plan to explain where you got the thing you're holding?
Or, maybe find a way to sneak in.
Your brain really is made entirely of wood, isn't it?
Do you have an idea then?
If we can't get inside the tomb of Sui, we'll find someone who can.
Do you mean, Who's there? Show yourself! Zola senses a hostile presence and instinctively draws his sword. The thing you promised me. Hand it over. The Forbidden City is just ahead. It should be heavily guarded if the Grand Commandant really intends to sacrifice Wei Yenwu's life. There are guards stationed at all the important intersections in the city. It should not be hard to detect unusual movements by a large force. Wait, is that? Chen stops in her tracks. She sees a figure. A very familiar one. Yushi. You should not have come. Time for a showdown! Is it finally time? Is it finally time? For the Wei Yenwu versus Chen showdown? Stay tuned for the next episode of Sui Ball Z, I guess. I don't know. First off, before we discuss this was a cutscene. This was a scene. We have a mini boss. Chun! Yes, Chun is here. She is the supervisor of the Sui regulator. Holy hell, promotion. Anyway, Chun, the elf who wanders 1,000 realms, the fire that illuminates the long night, the visitor lost in the past, the lingerer who reminisces on the departed. Beautiful and absolutely accurate description for this character. She was pushed and tricked in the past to pretty much listen to the inner voice, to the wrong inner voice, and will probably forever lament what she did in the past. I mean, perfect example when the sliver, and by the way, that was an amazing little part, that the tiny little trinket had a sliver of the life force of GA inside of it, and that was the key to open the door. just like the story showed us at the beginning, or rather Jie told at the beginning to Chun in one of the past timelines that we saw from Wang's storyline. She did say the owner, the owner of the house does not need a key. The owner can just enter. And yeah, the little trinket, at least so far, the purpose of the trinket was to be the key to open the door. And yeah, this is the part where Chen gets the riding knife into her hands. Now, what will she do with it? That will be for the rest of the story to show and tell. But yeah, very interesting. Plus, I do like the part at the beginning of the cutscene, or at the beginning of the stage, where we see a flashback of I presume that is Zuo as he just became a candle holder, if I understood that cutscene correctly. And I like how back then when he started, he saw the proxies as a threat or enemy essentially or whatever. But now now times have changed. The boy has become a man. The boy has actually grown up. He understands that he needs to think with his own head a bit and open his mind and absorb knowledge to make proper decisions and not just be like everything is black and white, right? He has grown up. He has definitely grown up to be a proper grown up now that knows how to deal with shit. Pretty proud of the guy. He is definitely he is such a night and day difference between his first appearance in Invitation to Wine, I believe that was, and where he is now. He went through a long ass character arc to get here. Still a bit of a you know, stick up his ass kind of character, a bit too much, a rule abider, but way better than what he was originally. Definitely grew up as a character, and yeah, definitely very interesting stage overall. Plus, I don't know. Again, coming back to the trinket, I don't know if the trinket is gonna deal with anything else in the story. It's still around, and our dear pairing of Zuola and Moi are now going to the tomb of Sui, which well, they ran into quite a problem. I wonder if Ya is gonna be another mini-boss in this story, but we'll see. We'll see how this is gonna develop next time. But yeah, very interesting developments so far. Also, again, very clear depiction of Chun here, showcasing that, yeah, what she did in the past is definitely not something... it's definitely not something that she would have done probably without the Sui pressuring her in, but she had to essentially bite down and eat the shit in front of her and keep on pressing herself forward, pretty much caught in a cage of mostly her own making, right? Something that she cannot escape, and despite everything, even then, seeing her, just seeing her here at the end just break down after Jie actually reappeared in front of her, just it does show that she did obviously care about her. She wasn't heartless. she did see Jie as someone she can actually trust and everything, but or wants to be friends with. I mean, they're both long-lived people. But yeah, that's you reap what you sow, essentially, as the saying goes, right? But anyway, we'll see what happens to Chun in the next part, probably, or whatever part later. I wonder if she's gonna remain a Sui supervisor, or if she's gonna now that Jie returned, even for this brief little snippet, if that is gonna rattle her awake to maybe confess to what she did and just concede to her guilt and maybe step down as the Sui supervisor, essentially. Sui regulator supervisor, essentially. And maybe someone else is gonna have to take over. Who? I don't know. Zua is, I think, a bit too young for that. Anyway, this has been definitely a part, and we are now in the end game. Now, I do not know if the next part after this one is gonna be the ending to the story, if I'm gonna put everything into one single part, or if I'm gonna split them apart and just release that, just work on them and release them back to back. I might just do that, because that would be both easier to make and record and edit, but also would probably make for an easier watch. Plus, I do need to do the post-story yap at some point as well, so that will be somewhere in there too. But anyway, we'll see about that in the next part. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this part. If you did so, please consider leaving a like. It would help out a lot. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you want to support me more directly, memberships are open on the channel. Like I always say, no video will be behind a membership. It's purely there for support, so thank you very much to all the members already doing so. Much appreciated. And I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, enjoy the clip section that follows. I am having the hiccups, and I will see you all in the next one. Until then, bye-bye. Someone joins him, stepping lightly, and bends down to pick up a book from the ground. Oh, hey! Ding! There she is. She just appears out of nowhere. Alright. I was wondering if she's gonna actually show up in the story, considering these two are supposed to be a... they're supposed to be a thing, so always nice to see if their relationship is actually developing. One of the rare relationships that this game has, and it only has it because these two are not playable. Fuck's sake. Hypergriff! We need more pairs!
Perhaps you wanted to ask how I knew you were here, when you did not tell me about your demotion.
Oh no, you didn't tell her. Why didn't you tell her? Buddy?
I listened, but it seems that I forgot about it when I met you in Chongyue. I simply believe that I found a kindred spirit.
Oh, dude, you better not. You better not let this fall through. I swear, I will reach through the screen and I will break your neck again the way it was originally. You motherfucker, you better not fuck this up. I know you're being humble and everything, but good God, she's trying so hard. My lord. And I know you also like her, you fucking idiot. Come on. They hold each other's hands tightly in their own. Aww. I like the representation here with the twin moons for them. That is very cute. That is very cute. Do not, my guy, do not let this fall through, you little asshole. Jesus Christ. Hang on to this woman.
Looks like it's not that you're not curious. It's that curiosity has yielded no answers.
That's an interesting statement. Interesting. So, yeah, he was curious about it probably, but he can't find any answers. Which is, again, very interesting that Mo Yi, she actually directly spoke Jie's name when she was trying to use the token to summon her, which clearly didn't work, but and that's clearly not the intended thing for the little token, but very interesting. Yeah, she knows the name, which is a name that basically should be forgotten by everybody, unless she found someone or something who remembers the name and they taught her the name. I do wonder if they're gonna dig into that, why she actually knows the name of Jie.
I guess the Sui regular left no record of who gave Yan this originium either. It was our Grandmaster, Ju's first friend, and the first Shanghai Zhong.
Ooh. Also, your Grandmaster and Ju's first friend? Uh-huh. Okay, who's your Grandmaster? Another Jew and Ho are getting along, sorta. But, okay. Jew's first friend and the first Shanghai Zhong. Is she gonna say something afterwards? No, he's confused. It was a personal gift to the true Lung, meaning... And they're gonna cut it off. Huh, okay. Okay, okay. Okay, so that's how Yan acquired, or the True Lung acquired, the first Originium that they have. Huh, okay. Very interesting. I wonder if they're gonna drop another name here of who it was. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. A figure approaches them from the other side of the corridor. But how could it be? Who? Okay, they're cutting off. Huh? But how could it be? Oh my god, this guy! The big Imperial Guard. Jesus Christ, these guys look impressive as fuck. Separate the plates. Oh boy. Oh shit! Oh, it's happening. Heaven and earth rumble in the setting golden sun. The plates of Baizao begin to separate, starting from the outer areas, casting numerous shadows in the vast wilderness. Oh boy, here we go, huh? Holy shit, this is a maneuver. Yes, zoom out more. Jesus. They are the legs that carry the city and the foundation of its existence. Duafan, Baigu, Zaifu, Binge? I'm not sure if that's how you say that one. Alright. Oh wow, they're separating even more. So it's like, it's not complete like... essentially a pizza separation with the middle intact, but it's holy shit, the music in the background, what the fuck? The music is going in. Yeah, it's basically pizza slices, but the pizza slices are also cut like horizontally one more time through. Wow. Okay, well that makes the plates very very mobile, essentially. Cool. Very, very cool. Hey, there's the old man. Alright, you old fart. So you are impatient and you are leading essentially... He is essentially leading a military coup at this point. He ran out of patience for some goddamn reason and he is pushing for... He is pushing for the kill, huh? Yikes. Why would he push, actually? He never seemed like, at least I never thought about this guy ever, like, disobeying the true lungs. So why is he pushing all of a sudden so hard, for this whole thing, huh? I do wonder. And never mind, not gonna find out yet, but swapping back to Wang. Alright.
You'll make the choice that is best for everyone.
Oh. Oh, that was interesting. She's being... She's being, coerced into this by Sui Itself, huh? I mean, yeah, this would make sense. Sui, as it slowly wakes up, starting to meddle in the affairs of everybody and spreading false information. Oh boy. The player is exhausted at his last gasp. Oh shit, he is actually transparent. Oh god. Oh, he's actually transparent. He almost died here. He almost actually died during this. Holy shit. What the fuck is this music all of a sudden? This is supposed to be like the I can't remember the name right now. The instrument that Jun plays usually. It's like Jun's theme or some shit playing right now. Also, good god, the scene just earlier with Chun and Dia. My god, the inner turmoil. Woof. My girl, what the fuck? What the fuck? You pretty much just sent her to her death, but then again, who knows how this is gonna impact everything now. We are approaching the end game after all, but holy shit. Yikes! Oh, she's giving her... yeah, right. This is how the knife is gonna end up in the Sky Mirror Pavilion, huh? She hands it to Jun, and she then stores it away. Actually, I'm wondering right now, is she gonna... I guess I'm gonna see in a second. Is she gonna ask Jun to erase her own name from history? Like Jia's name from history? Is that why no one is gonna remember her name? It wasn't the merger back to Sui, it was maybe her own doing. I guess we'll see in a second. Oh, 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 oh boy. Okay, so she's asking her to preserve the knife, that she will be capable of doing so. Interesting, is that why the knife stayed behind? It's because Jun did something. Huh. I wonder what the hell are her powers supposed to be? Okay. Oh. This is one of those like like the Theresa thing. You know it happened already, and then you're watching it happen, and it's hitting you. it's just hitting you, right? It's the same thing again. This character had like a boatload of both ears and stories to be built up, and now we're just watching her depart to her final journey. Ugh. Yikes! Oh, that stings. That hits. Ugh. There is a faint smile on Jia's face, and she nods lightly. The light gushes from behind her, surrounding the figure, swallowing it, dissolving it, sweeping away the dream realm and revealing the true face of this place. That is one hell of a sentence to say after this cutscene. Not bad. Could have not rolled a better response from any of the siblings for this fucking stage. Oh my god. Ugh. Thank you, Dusk. That was the best fucking description you could give to that cutscene just now. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. That was heavy to read through. Jesus. Alright, TA8, we are going back to Chen. Oh boy. Huh. That was interesting. Yeah, he did see the Feramuts and their proxies as enemies at one point. Oh, the supervisor is here. That's who the person approaching was. Okay. Interesting. Are we gonna see the supervisor? I have a sneaking suspicion. But nah. Would she rise through the ranks to become a supervisor? That would be interesting if that's the case. I was thinking like the voice that, or the person that was approaching, it's either Jun coming along with one of the keys, or it's someone else. But I guess that that turned out to be someone else, and that someone else is the supervisor. Okay. What are you doing here? Oh shit, it is her! Oh my god, okay, also model change, holy crap. Wow, so she rose through the ranks after that. Pardon, she rose through the ranks after that, and she became the Sui regulator supervisor. Holy moly. Wow. Well, pays off to have a long life, huh? You have time to climb the corporate ladder, my dear, huh? Holy shit. Okay, this will be interesting now.
But does the true Lung's life to be sacrificed really have to be the Emperor's? Why did the Grand Commandant go to such painstaking lengths to obtain—
Oh, is that the plan? Is that why Wei Yenwu was called back? Was the letter a forgery? To get Wei back, because he wants to sacrifice Wei's life? Because he is also, obviously, a blood descendant of the true Lung. Oh. He is the sacrificial pawn, isn't he? Ah. You mean the Grand Commandant wants to use the writing knife to change the record of who the current true Lung is? Oh, or that. I guess that is the case. Yeah, if he uses the knife to change the record and makes it appear so that, yeah, Wei Yenwu is the reigning true Lung. He has the blood right of it anyway. He can just use, yeah, I mean, still, what I was suspecting is still has merit. He just needs to pretty much change the paperwork to make it happen. But still, yeah, he's using Wei Yenwu as a sacrificial pawn. Well, that's shit.
Regrettably, it seems I cannot allow you to live.
Damn, Chun? Holy shit. I hope there is more to this whole thing, because, I don't know, either something broke in Chun that day when she lied to Jie, and that is still to this day making her be this asshole of a person, essentially, this conniving little shit, or there is something more going on here. I honestly hope there's something more going on here. I didn't really peg her as as such an asshole of a person. She at least didn't appear like that. She was happily working alongside Jie. But I guess we'll see. Hopefully this is some kind of weird shit going on here that we'll get some explanation later, unless she is an asshole. If what Mo Yi says is true, then I voice my dissent to your methods, Supervisor. Hey, look at you growing a spine! Damn, brother! Telling your supervisor no. Holy, you have grown. You have actually grown up. Holy shit, I'm proud of you, buddy. I'm proud of you. Holy shit. He is a night and day difference between his first appearance back in Invitation to Wine and now. He has actual life experience now under his belt, even if it was just a short while. He definitely grew. Do your worst. Oh shit, are we gonna be fighting her? Is this gonna be a mini boss battle? This is building up to be a fight against her right now. Unless we're just gonna be fighting regular shitters on the map. I would love it if it's a mini boss battle. That would be great. Okay, yeah, long path. Oh shit, it is her! Oh shit! The elf who wanders... Oh my god, small text. The elf who wanders 1,000 realms, the fire that illuminates the long night, the visitor lost in the past, the lingerer who reminisces on the departed. Wow, that is text. Okay, mini boss battle stage, let's do this. Oh god, if he kills her now in one single hit, that would be hilarious. Oh, she has a second phase. Oh, damn. Oh, damn, she has a second phase. Okay. Or rather, she comes a bit back from the dead, I guess. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for this guy to step in and... Oh, she keeps coming. Oh, okay, now we've entered the second phase. Okay, I see. I see, you little asshole. Okay. She's gonna be invulnerable for a bit. Ow! Oh my god, you got transported all the way over here? Shit! Oh well. And Chen time! There goes the dragon. And there goes Chun. Okay. 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 I know this is like middle of the game, so it's it's a bit using the powerful units. The sliver of life force ripples. Oh. Well, she's kinda back. So yeah, that little thing was always a sliver of her consciousness, huh? Oh. Are they making her float a tiny bit in the background? That's kinda neat. Oh. It is blurry, indistinct. The only clear feature is grey robe, like paper that has grown yellow from the pages of time, but still smelling faintly of old books and dried ink. Aww.
Wang drew you into the game and had you retrieve this object so that you could deliver it here and allow it to recuperate, in preparation for her return.
Are we actually, by the end of the story, gonna bring her back in preparation for her return, huh? Okay. I mean, the little things from the stories in Garden of Groutesqueries have definitely painted the picture well that these siblings, specifically Wang and Yi, were talking about bringing her potentially back, or forming plans to bring her back. So, ooh, this would be kind of crazy if she comes back by the end of the story. Okay. Oh, that went away very quick. I wanted to grab a snapshot of the other and exchange. There we go, it's back. Okay, great. Great. Nice parallel. Oh, Jesus Christ, all these script guys at once. Oh my god, the kerfuffle, so many of them. Okay, we're back in Mangshan Town, huh? Zula senses a hostile presence and instinctively draws his sword. Hello there. How's it going, yeah? It's fucking hell. I swear every time this fucking gal appears. Alright. Your plan B for the delivery or some shit? Oh hey, now she is in full now she is in her full form, the knife in hand and everything. Okay, there we go. Nice. A very familiar one. Wei, play along. Don't be a dickhead right now. She's trying to save your goddamn life, Wei. But I know you're probably gonna be a dickhead and you're probably gonna be blocking her from entering. Are you two gonna fight? Ooh, are these two fucks finally gonna have their showdown? Oh, that would be huge. And this is where the cutscene ends. Yeah. Oh, shut up! You said it twice now at the perfect time. Perfect timing. Perfect timing, Dusk. Okay, are we staying in the present timeline or are we going back with the next stage? Oh, we are fusing. Oh, bitch, we are fusing into the next one. Oh, nice. Nice, 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 nice. Okay. Woof. Okay, I'm not gonna do stage 9 now. This is gonna be for another time. This is gonna be enough for this one part. What's the next one called? Defiant Spirit. No looking back, no regrets with with every move. Ooh. Also, how are these stages gonna... Oh, it's gonna stay this way. Okay. Also, while I'm here, not this one, this one. Did you have anything else, or was that the entire description? Yeah, that was the entire lingers through reminiscences on the departed. Yeah. Okay. 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 All right. All right.